Hey, Snackers, this is Kareem Iskander.
Hey everyone, Matt the Napoli here.
Welcome to episode 168 of Snack Minute.
This week we have Patrick back. He's our resident expert on all things certifications, and he's going to be talking to us today about hands-on troubleshooting for CCNP Enterprise. But before we get started, Patrick, if you wouldn't mind introducing yourself to our new snackers.
For sure. If you've seen any of my previous episodes, you know that we always start with a bit of a theme song.
Guess who's back? 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 Guess who's back?
So yes, my name is Patrick Argano. I work for Learning and Certifications with these guys, and I'm in the content development team, and particularly the enterprise content development team. So, I focus on CCNA, Encore, ENARSI, and SD-WAN. And I want to come today to talk about something really, really exciting. We have a new learning path that we've just released in Cisco U. But before I show you that and tell you why it's so exciting, I want to do a little bit of just a bit of Q&A with you guys here. So, back in 2020, Learning and Certifications revamped their entire certification portfolio from CCNA all the way to CCIE. And it was big news, right? Lots of changes. So here's the question for you this afternoon. Do you guys know exactly what the format is now for any of the CCNPs? So security or collaboration or enterprise, like which exams someone actually has to take and pass to be CCNP Enterprise, for example?
I'm going to guess because I don't work for learning certifications, but I believe it is you have to take a professional core exam.
Yes.
And then you have to take a specialization.
Very good.
Was that the what you were looking for?
That is exactly it.
Yes.
Kareem, did you have something that you want to add to that?
No, he stole, it's the same thing for the DevNet track, right? So that's why he knows it. That's all.
Yeah. So we've simplified it, right? And so just to kind of remind folks, and again, I'll focus on the enterprise one because that one's the one that we're here to talk about today. But exactly what Matt said, the new way of getting your CCNP certification, whatever track, collaboration, security, or enterprise, you need to take a core exam. And that's a fairly substantial exam, right? It covers a lot of technologies within that track. And then you need to do a concentration. And you can see this is the list of all of them in the enterprise track. So loads, right? I like this one here in the middle at the top, the SD-WAN one, obviously, but there's enterprise design and wireless, and obviously a little bit of automation for the DevNet folks out there. And then at the bottom, the multi-cloud ones. But probably, to be honest, the most popular one is the one at the top left here, which is the Advanced Routing and Services Specialization or Concentration exam. So, okay, fantastic. Yeah, passed the quiz. So that's what happened in 2020. This is the new format. Now, here we go. We're going to flash back to 2010. Do you guys remember how it worked before we revamped everything in 2020? Like, what was the previous version of this?
I could take a guess. And I think from memory, you had to take a CCNA first.
Okay, good point. Yes.
And then you got into a two-part CCNP that you took. Was that right?
You're close, Matt. Any idea?
Oh, no clue whatsoever. Not 1 ounce of a nope.
I should have sent you guys the answers ahead of time. I'm just kidding. Yeah, I'll bring you back then with me because I'm the old guy on the call here. So I'll bring you back to 2010. And so it used to be called CCNP Routing and Switching. That was what became CCNP Enterprise in 2020. And back in the day, in 2010, when this launched, to get this certification, you needed to sit and pass 3 exams. And you can kind of see my score report from 2010/2011 when I took these first 3 exams for the first time back then and got certified CCNP Routing and Switching. Super popular certification with our learner community out there. But in particular, the favorite exam, like my favorite exam, a lot of folks that I spoke to over the years, favorites exam was the TSHOOT exam. And I'll be honest with you, so between 2010 and 2020, I took that exam, I think 4 times to recertify different certifications that I had over the years. And the reason I just kept going back to that one, I know this is going to sound crazy, but it was actually fun to take that exam.
I can see that.
Patrick's definition of fun, though, is cute. So
yeah, thank you.
Yeah, but you're problem solving and it's in a space that I actually can understand why it would be fun.
Whatever, Matt.
No, that's exactly it, Matt. The idea with this exam, and it was such a cool way of doing it, is it was just a bunch of trouble tickets. So basically, you would sit down and you would be shown a trouble ticket saying something's broken. Let's say, client 1 over here on the left can't reach the server at the top, and you need to figure out what the problem is. And it was, not only was it cool from that perspective, but Cisco would actually release these diagrams to the public, right? It was on our official Cisco website. So people could download these topologies, build them up themselves in their own lab environment and practice and, kind of get ready for the exam. So it wasn't a shock when they sat down. And you can kind of see what each ticket was asking you, right? Where's the problem located? Is it R1? Is it DSW1? Which technology is actually broken? Is it spanning tree? Is it, OSPF? And then which commands would actually fix it, right? These were all like a series of multiple choice. Guys, it was a really cool exam to take, and people loved it at the time. And at that period, I was teaching a lot of route switch and TSHOOT at a NetAcad, a local networking academy. And students, again, those students love the TSHOOT course and exam as well. Just the idea that, we would take a rack of gear, build up a massive network, break it in a few different places, and then let the students kind of figure it out and kind of fix it, right? So students just love that kind of thing. It was allowing them to kind of show off their routing and switching skills, right? So anyways, that was back in the day. So do you guys remember this? Do you remember hearing about this exam at all back then, or not really?
I remember hearing about this back in 2000, probably 2010, 2007, actually, when I was in TAC, because I believe it was one of the things that the TAC engineer, one of the certifications TAC engineers had to pass.
Yeah.
To become an escalation engineer.
I mean, if you're going to be in TAC, right, you need to troubleshoot stuff. So no, I think that's a really, anyway, so it was a really popular exam. When it was retired in 2020, I felt sad to see it go. But I mean, I really liked what we were doing with Encore in particular and the other specializations. But when I joined Cisco a few years ago, I missed this TSHOOT kind of teaching and scenarios so much that I proposed a Cisco Live instructor-led lab and built this network topology that you're seeing. And I've been running it for the past 3 years, either in the US or Amsterdam and Melbourne. And it's always sold out. People just love this. And the way I did it is basically like the old TSHOOT exam. I just built a big network and created 27 trouble tickets, and people just work through the tickets. And then you can, we do a debrief and we talk through the issues and, help each other out. So it's always a fun time.
Thanks for the history. Makes sense.
Yeah.
I know your session gets sold out within hours from as soon as it gets released in the session catalog.
Yeah.
Are we building a learning path around this? What do we have for our snackers?
You're spot on, exactly. And just to remind folks as well, though, like if we go back for a second to that specialization I mentioned earlier, the one that's really popular, the ENARSI one, it kind of unofficially had replaced TSHOOT. And what I mean by that is if you have a look at these exam topics, you'll see that almost all of the verbs here that I copy pasted, they're all troubleshoot. So there's a ton of troubleshooting in ENARSI, but it's kind of wrapped in around, learning more about OSPF and EIGRP and BGP and all kinds of routing stuff. We kind of replaced TSHOOT with this, but it goes beyond just troubleshooting. And so what we decided to do, and that's exactly what you were asking me earlier, Kareem, is are we going to bring this back? So yes, although we do have some troubleshooting in the ENARSI Cisco U Learning Path, I'm very, very, very happy to announce that we're bringing TSHOOT back. So we've updated the content, updated the labs, we've given it a new name, and it's available now in Cisco U, and it's called Enterprise Troubleshooting, so ENTSH. And this is what the learning path actually looks like. And I'll obviously demo it in just a second, but just to give you a quick idea of what you're looking at, there's 2 tracks to this learning path. The first one is just talking about, methodologies and troubleshooting procedures. So like best practices about how to troubleshoot. So we do a little bit of that. But then the meat on the bone, if you like, is what comes in that second track. You can kind of see the funny looking names of companies there, like Seshnik and Tink and Pile and Bank of Polona. These are all fictitious companies. And what we've done is we've created kind of case studies for each one of these locations. And within those case studies, like a dozen trouble tickets, basically, right? So people are writing in saying something's broken, they can't access something, and you need to sort it out, basically.
I think this is going to resonate really well with our snackers and our learners in general, because the feedback that we've been getting is hands-on experience is gold.
Practical hands-on experience.
Practical
right?
hands-on experience is gold. Thank you, Matt. And it's and I'm seeing that the entire learning path is around that.
It's just that.
It's just that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
this is really great to see, Patrick. One clarification: we're not bringing back the certification, right?
No, that's true.
The TSHOOT certification. We're only bringing back that learning path.
Exactly. It's just the idea of being able to do and practice some troubleshooting. That's what we're bringing back. It's basically based on the old TSHOOT course. I should clarify as well. So, not the certification. That's for sure.
Do you want to do a quick demo of what to expect in that lab?
So I had logged in here to ENARSI, but let me grab it. So if I do a quick search for ENTSH, quickly you can see that that's the only learning path that's called that. So I can click on that. And like I said, this first track here is all about methodologies and procedures and kind of best practices. But then these are the actual case studies themselves. And if I click on one of them, just to show you what it looks like, it's just loading and logging in right now. What's really cool is the way that we've broken it down is there's multiple tickets per troubleshooting scenario, if you like. So you can kind of see, I'll scroll down a bit, maybe zoom in a touch as well. There you go. So this is a series of trouble tickets that have come in here, right? So on Monday morning, you've arrived and a bunch of users are complaining about connectivity issues or access issues, right? So Kimberly on PC1 in this topology can't access the server, or Andrew can't get to the internet. So there's there are 4 trouble tickets there. And the idea is that you spin up the lab. So I'll just click here. So this is the actual lab launch page. So there are those 4 tickets I was talking about. And then I'll initialize the lab. The lab takes about 2-3 minutes to spin up. It's all a virtualized environment. So the routers, the switches, they all boot up. The configs get pushed to them. Obviously some of the configs are broken, and those are the ones that you're going to need to fix. And again, you can kind of see the steps here. So the first issue looks like, I don't want to kind of spoil it for folks, but it looks like I'm going to spoil the first one. This PC couldn't get to the server, and after troubleshooting all that, you'll realize that there's a problem on the trunk port between ASW1 and DSW1. The VLAN hasn't been allowed. I mean, this is a really, really basic example of what one of the tickets would look like. I mean, guys, just to wrap up, the thing, to be honest with you, that I like the most about the enterprise troubleshooting learning path is the fact that we have these debriefs, right? You can kind of see we have the trouble tickets and debrief, trouble tickets, debrief. And the debriefs are fantastic because, if I give you a problem to fix and you can't fix it, then you're going to get just frustrated. So if you do get to a ticket where you're not too sure how to sort out, you look at the debrief, and the debrief kind of guides you through a specific flow to verify, document, kind of propose a hypothesis, and then actually, correct the problem. So you're not just left to your own devices here. Good luck. We're giving you the challenge, but then we're also giving you that extra bit of help to explain what the issue was, so that you learn from the experience as well. So hopefully that makes sense to folks.
Yeah, totally makes sense. This is Patrick. I have to say, you probably had a lot of fun putting this together, given the history you gave us earlier, and I can totally see where this would be really exciting to kind of take that knowledge that you gleaned over the last 15 years and really put it back into the front of our learners.
And again, it's just coming from, what we were doing between, let's say, 2010 and 2020, and then the feedback I was getting from that Cisco live session. So I'm glad we have something similar to offer in Cisco U for folks to really ramp up their network, enterprise troubleshooting skills for sure.
Thank you so much for showing us this, introducing our snackers to the ENTSH. Did I say it right? And snackers, go check this out. Troubleshooting is probably one of the, I always like debugging software. So, this kind of hits home for me, and it's probably really fun for you guys too. So go check this out. And Patrick, thank you for joining us again, and
Cheers.
Can't wait to bring you back next time.
I hope so. Thanks for the invite. I appreciate it.
And we'll catch you guys on the next episode.
Thanks, Patrick. Thank you, snackers.
Cheers. Thanks, guys.